We're about to watch a movie. Another Batman. Hopefully no baby Batman in this one. Or actually, hopefully, baby Batman. Because there was no baby Batman in Gotham. That was really a letdown. So, baby Batman, crossing my fingers. Really hoping for that. Been having a great time, meeting all sorts of people. This guy, he drew this. And I got it. He made this drawing. And, this is one of the movies that I love. Because I love this bunny man. Get a good look at that bunny man. I just love the splashes of red. Just whoosh. That's probably my favorite part of the whole thing. The bunny's cool too, but the splashes of red really caught my eye. But yeah, so if you haven't seen the movie with the bunny man, Donnie Darko, you watch it. We're about to watch, what's the movie called again? Batman Mask of Phantasm.
Baby Batman, right?
Straddle in, folks. You at home, watch Baby Batman Return of Batman. Come back later, see what I thought about it.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman! That's always a good way to start.
Yeah, or a terrible way. There's no way to follow that. It's interesting, we'll talk more about this, but 75 years of the Bat himself, before we get into the animated world. We're just a really brief preamble. Were you a comic book, to what extent were you a comic book lover as a child?
You know, that's what's sort of ironic about my involvement in all this, because I really came at it as an actor.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason I got the job was because it was such a clean slate.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of exposure to comic books as a kid. I had a very, very conservative Catholic school upbringing. So there were not like comic books right now. And I came at it, when I went into the audition, Rustin and Paul Dini had to kind of explain the backstory to me. I only knew the Adam West show from the 60s, which is a great show, but was a real deviation from what they were going to do, which was the Dark Knight, the Legends of the Dark Knights concept.
Right.
So they had to explain to me, no, not that.
No pow.
No pow, man. But
and it's cool you got
like Kevin Smith always says, that's a valid way of doing it.
I think
it's a wonderful way of doing it. It's just different.
Well, it's funny, just to piggyback a little bit, and we'll get to the future. Talking to Danny Elfman, neither Elfman nor Tim Burton were comic book lovers. You know, Elfman said Tim said something really interesting. He said, I didn't even know how to read one. I didn't know what order you're supposed to read the panels. And in a way, that perspective maybe intensifies.
Well, sometimes, actors, it's about hand in glove. Yeah. It's the right actor for the right role. And life prepares you for everything you bring to acting.
Yeah.
I say to actors, you are your instrument. Your body is your instrument. And it's so true. You are the culmination, all of you are the culmination of everything that's happened to you in your life. Emotionally, psychically, intellectually. It's everything that's happened to you since you were a child. So actors are the same way. They're the culmination of everything they've experienced. And the whole point of acting is to open yourself up as much as possible and get as intimate a connection to your inner core and your deepest emotions so that you can bring that out effortlessly with each character. That's the kind of trick, is to make it look so effortless because you're in such touch with those emotions and those thoughts and those dark corners that everyone has. That's the whole trick of being an actor. And what I find so ironic about the business is that the whole point of acting is to get closer to that sensitive, dark, inner point. The better the actor you are, the more intimate you are with it, the more comfortable you are with it, the more able you are to expose yourself. And yet to survive in Hollywood and to survive in the entertainment business, you have to develop this suit of armor to protect yourself from the constant rejection, the constant merchandising, the constant whoring that goes on. You know what I mean? So you're developing, I find, the irony about Hollywood is you're developing in two different directions at the same time. if you're any good. If you're not just a narcissist who likes to strut in front of the camera, if you're really trying to do something, that you're trying to create some kind of reality, something of merit, then you're trying to do something of quality. So you're trying to get something from some truthful core. Well, to do that in a city like LA is, you know what I mean? You're growing in two different directions at the same time.
Well, it's interesting, and we're going to get to the film in a moment, and save more of this information for later. Thinking back on Mask of the Phantasm, I wanted to screen this with you because it's really where it all began in a way on a feature level for this character.
And it's the best Batman movie.
It is. I agree.
Sub-Zero, it's an under ice shot, looking up at the paws of polar bears running across the ice. I mean, who came up with that idea?
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. The artwork in all of the Batman stuff has just been amazing.
When Batman, or Bruce is courting Andrea, the skies are purple. It's amazing, if you go through the series and the features, the way the artist treated day was so extraordinary. Every day has a color to it. It's quite stunning.
And the sensitivity when Batman is crying at his parents' tomb, you really sense, it's almost like you could feel the flesh on his face. I mean, it's a very human moment. It's not like watching a cartoon.
It's funny that you said that. I was sitting in the audience, and to me that's the best way to watch this. Because the audience is really reacting as if it's not animated.
Oh, yeah.
Do you get lost in that yourself? Do you ever forget you're watching something animated?
Yeah, I think, you know, there's a lot of criticism of the live-action Batman movies, and I think the reason is because this is the way people are introduced to Batman.
Yeah.
He is an animated character. It's so much more, he so lives in your imagination, so that when directors try to bring it live action to the screen, it's almost impossible to translate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. In a sort of flesh and blood, flesh and bone kind of way. Let me just do a quick show of hands. Who in here, as they're watching the feature animated Batman, forgets at times they're watching something animated? That's about 45–50%.
Yeah, you really get involved with the character.
Yeah. Even the jokes, people are kind of laughing at in a human way. They're not slapstick kind of humor.
And the wonderful thing about the jokes in this is, because, you know, let's face it, Mark Hamill has, 99% of them. Warner doesn't do any kind of sweetening in recording, in post-production. All of those vocal gymnastics that you hear Mark doing, he does. None of that is somehow synthesized in post-production. Just like my Batman voice, people always say, do they do something in post-production to make your voice really go down there? They don't. We come up with those sounds in the booth.
What's interesting, the one character who is beautifully synthesized in the series is Mr. Freeze. That's a beautiful, I mean, the way they, the great late Michael Xana, who died a year ago, past a year ago. Yeah, last summer, actually. To me, that you're right, because the way his voice works, it emphasizes how real everyone else's voice is. They're very specific.
Very specific, and they really, that's why they love to cast actors rather than, a lot of voice actors are great at making or producing unusual sounds. You know what I mean? Very unusual sounds that I could never do. I mean, there are people who can make the sound of a leopard in heat. And you would believe there's a leopard in heat right next to you. They like to, at Warner, get a lot of actors in there because they want the emotional depth that they bring to the performances.
Stacy Keach, Dana Delaney.
What a cast! My gosh.
The never-ending Abe Vigoda, yourself. But you said it earlier, there were a lot of neophytes there as well. It seems like there were not a lot of people new to voice artistry.
Well, there's an interesting thing about doing voice work, having been new to it myself, is that, especially in this genre, Warner Brothers, where they were going for very realistic sounds, There are other shows like, say, Animaniacs, where you get more cartoony sounds, and they need more bizarre sounds, you know. But in this realm, they wanted very real sounding performances. But you still only have your voice to tell the story. So I would watch this happen. They would bring in people from film and TV because they were a name. And occasionally, the person would give a very flat performance. And you realize they were giving the performance they give on film, where you have the visual to tell the story. They wanted it to be naturalistic, but you do have to goose it a little bit. You have to, like, caress it a little bit, because you really do only have your voice to tell the story. But if you do it a little too much, then it sounds hammy. Then it sounds false. So it's just a funny kind of a caressing of the sound that you have to do when only you have your voice to tell the story. And I'd watch Andrea Romano, is such a wonderful director.
Sort of the unsung hero.
Oh,
so much
probably the best animation director in the business.
What's funny about her,
I happened to start out with her. Can you believe that?
She always shows up in interesting ways in the film. Sometimes she's the voice of the Bat computer.
Yeah.
Sometimes she was Green Lantern once. It was kind of, she's always popping up in interesting
But what's so wonderful about her is she started out as an actress in college. And then she became an agent. And then eventually she got into voice directing. So she's come at it from the business from a lot of different perspectives. And she loves actors. And not everyone who directs actors loves actors. That's a little secret.
I heard that, yeah.
That's a little secret. A lot of directors really hate actors.
This just in.
Yeah, but she loves actors. So she brings people in, and she knows how to work with you. If you give an actor a line reading, it's usually the death of the line, because they will just get it in their head to imitate you rather than bring it to life. So the ideal thing for a director to do is to inspire you to come up with the line reading they want. Say, now, what about this do you love, and what about this do you hate, and try to give you the emotional direction to get you to the reading they're looking for, rather than just giving you the line reading. Because if they just give you the line reading, as I said, it usually kills it. Andrea never does that. And most voice directors do, because it's a very quick way of getting to where they want to get. If you're trying to caress it out of somebody, it takes more time, but you get a better performance. And I've seen her work with someone, and work with someone, and work with someone, and work with someone. And often, as I say, they bring in film or TV people who've never done this before, and the person just doesn't get it. They'll say, go! And she'll say, no, we need more urgency. And they'll go, okay, go! And she'll say, no, we really need it to be like, the Nazis are running after you. That kind of urgency. And they'll go, okay, go! That was much, much better. That was great. Now, could you do it like, the communists and the Nazis are running after you? And there are thousands of them. And they'll go, oh, great, I know what you want. Go! And you're watching this and you're thinking, they're not hearing themselves. And I've never seen her once, and I worked with her for 23 years, I've never seen her embarrass someone, or embarrass someone, that's the word for it, I guess. She respects people. And also she'll go, that's great, that's perfect, that's great. And then there have been a couple of times where at the end of the booking, she'll come up to me and she'll say, what is your afternoon like? And I'll say, well, I'm okay this afternoon. Why? She said, we want you to stay. We've got someone coming in. Could you work with them? We're going to read them into that role. And I wouldn't have even realized that they'd already made calls to get a replacement, because that person just couldn't get past, go! You know what I mean? So she won't embarrass people. There's just such a respect there for how you work with actors. And it's why she gets such great performances out of Mark Hamill, Abe Vigoda, Dana Delaney, Stacy Keach. Yeah. And why all these people want to work with her.
Yeah. when it's quite amazing, and she uses almost like a radio play approach.
Absolutely.
Where the actors are there. Now you're really on mic. You can't kind of spin off the mic and act.
No, you have to be very careful about not going off mic, but she does like to get everyone in the room together, and not all studios do that. I know at Disney they like to get people separately because you get a really clean take that way.
Right.
So post-production is much easier for them. They have a perfectly clean take from everyone, but they don't have the performances from everyone. Warner Brothers, especially Andrea, loves to get everyone in a studio together. And that's part of the reason they got such great casts over the years for the Batman series, because word got out that these bookings were the best show going. That they were a lot of fun. They were 2 hours long. You did an episode in 2 hours. You worked with 6 or 8 really wonderful actors all together, and it was like playing ball with people. You know, it was like when you were a kid, you're tossing the ball to someone, they toss it back to you. Mark and I had so much fun in the studio together. It's just a great experience.
It kind of feels like that as you're watching. It kind of feels like these guys are just there,
Absolutely,
really invested in it. But when the Mask of the Phantasm, as you hear it now, where was the Batman's voice? Had it fully clicked in your head, this is the voice, or was it still kind of under construction?
What happened, and it was funny, I was listening to it in this. Early on, I made the decision to do 2 voices, because it just seemed to me, he's the wealthiest guy in Gotham City. He's the most eligible bachelor. He's, you know, citizen #1. He puts on a cape and no one knows it's him? Come on. I'm watching Marcel. I'm watching one of the great minds. I'm watching, and he'd come up with these voices. And I think, where are these voices coming from? Where are these people coming from? And I was so jealous, you know. And as I got older, I'm very thankful, in fact, that as I've gotten older, I've gotten to be younger. I've allowed myself to be younger. And I've gotten much freer with my voice, and much more, I take a lot more risks now. And I learned that by watching Robin at an early age.
It's so beautifully said, and if there are gods of cinema, proof of that is having him leave us with Aladdin, you know. I mean, it sounds a little...
So much! I mean, my God,
you know,
the guy...
To have that opportunity, I know he had problems with Disney and all that, but that is one of the great screen works, performances with it.
It's for ALS and a good cause. Here we go. Oh!
Kevin Conroy, everybody.
Icy water.
I am Vincent. I am the night. I am freezing. Kevin Conroy, everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming.